Today on In the Woodyard, we're going to talk about the Eastonmade 22MB and how it got here. Here we go. So some of you might think this machine just magically showed up here. It's a great machine. I'm very happy to have it, and I'm very lucky to have it. So here's the story. Now, I've been doing firewood now for 50 years. Since I was a little kid, helping my dad cut wood. I didn't actually cut it. My job when I was a kid was basically get it out of the woods, put it in the truck, split it, and get it down the basement. That was it. So basically I was the wood chucker. Haul it, stack it, split it. Me and my two brothers, that's pretty much what we did as kids, because we heated with wood. So it was our job to help my dad process his wood, which he did with a little bitty chainsaw. He had a McCulloch, I remember, 1010. They had a John Thread. He had a bunch of different saws. But that's kind of how the whole thing started. Now, I don't heat with wood. I have a fireplace and a fire pit. And so over the years, I would just cut wood for myself. And I had a place, I still do have a place, my buddy Bill's. He let me go cut all the wood I want on his land because he has 90 acres and there's a lot of dead trees, and now he's got oak wilts, there's a lot more dead trees. So I would cut wood for myself, and I would have anywhere from 4 to 6 face cords a year that I would cut and then burn myself in our fireplace and fire pit, kind of just for extra heat in the house. Warmed up the living room really nice. We would we'd run the fireplace, and then we'd run the fan in the furnace to circulate the air in the house, so that one room in the house wouldn't be 1,000 degrees and every other room be, you know, freezing. So the most I ever went through one year, I think, was like 7 face cords, which is 2 1/3 full cords. But then he had a lot of trees start to die, so I started cutting more trees and making more firewood. And at one point, this was about 8 years ago, I had about 40 face cords or so that I had cut for myself. My wife says, "What are you going to do with all that wood?" Because I had it stacked. I had a big pile stacked back here. I had a big pile stacked along my garage at home. And I said, "Well, I don't know." I said, "Maybe I'll sell some of it." So later that year, I put an ad on Craigslist that I had 2-year-old, because it was all about 2-year-old oak firewood for sale. And I sold it for $90 a face core, and I delivered it. And I sold everything I had in less than 2 weeks. The first week it was almost all gone, then I had a little bit, but it sold really fast. So right away I'm thinking, being the entrepreneur, businessman, you know, guy that just likes to make some spare money, I thought, well, I could do more of that. So the next year I cut 80 face cords, and I cut, split, and stacked it, all of it by hand. I mean, I cut it with a chainsaw. I had a Husqvarna 455 Rancher, and I cut all of that on my buddy Bill's land and haul it back here. And during that year, towards the end of the year, my dad told me, he said, "Hey, you need to get a splitter. It's ridiculous how much wood you're splitting by hand." And I love doing it. That's the main reason I started. I just loved cutting firewood. So I did 80 face cords the next year, and I sold all that. And I got my first splitter. I did about 600 face cords with that over the period of a couple of years, 2.5 years, something like that. And then I upgraded to the Glacier, which was a little bit more powerful, a little bit newer. I sold my first splitter. I think I paid $900 for it, and I sold it for $600 or something like that. So I didn't lose much money in that, and I split a lot of wood with it. And then the Glacier I had for a couple of years, and that I ran about 1,000 face cords through. And after about a year or so, I started thinking, I need to get something faster. This thing is slow. So I started researching, and I looked at just about everything. I really wanted to get a power split because I like the fact I could drive it around to the wood, and I like the vertical splitting like the Axis now has. I kind of like the system, but when I checked into it, you know, they were 20 grand, and I just didn't have that kind of money to spend on it. I couldn't justify it at the time. I didn't have the business built up with customers to where I could pay for the thing. So I did all the research. I thought about getting one of the kinetic splitters, which I really like those because those are nice and fast. But then I heard, you know, they're not really good for powering through wood, and I get a lot of nasty crap and crotches and things like that. So I didn't get that. So the next best thing that I could find for speed and price was the Eastonmade Ultra. So I bought that about 2 years ago now. Right around the same time, I thought, actually a little before that, my son and I were talking that I should start a YouTube channel because I watched a lot of guys on YouTube, and And my son said, you know, you could do the same thing because I could help you out with it. He's an IT guy and I'm a photographer. So, I mean, I have kind of an unfair advantage in that I can quite easily do videos. I kind of knew what to do. I only needed to learn a little bit of stuff on video. I had to learn a little bit about, you know, using a GoPro, which I do. To learn a little bit about sound, a little bit about the software. I use iMovie on my iMac. And then my son helped me kind of set up the channel and stuff, which was a great help. And he still does help a lot. So that's kind of how the whole thing started. And then about a year ago was one of the worst days of my life. It was the morning of my mom's funeral that I got an email from Andrew Easton. And he said, hey, Chris, are you interested in a processor? I like what you do on the channel. And if you know, you're interested, I don't know if you are or not, but let me know and maybe we could do something. So, of course, I was very interested because my brother Ken and I had been talking about getting a processor because between the two of us, we easily process well over 1,000 face chords a year. Ken does 500 to 600 face chords and I do about the same amount. So we could pretty much justify it if we were to buy a processor together over time and then maybe do some splitting for other people, you know, do some processing for other people and maybe even rent it out. So we've been talking about it for like about a year or so. So I showed the text to my brother Ken. He says, holy crap. He says, you know what that means? He says, you might be getting a processor to use. So we got all excited, of course, and so did I. And Andrew, being the nice guy that he is, said, you're going to need a tractor though. So that's why I bought the tractor. And for those of you that watch the channel, you know that I've been clearing space off to make room for this thing. And I'm still not quite ready for it. So yeah, that's how it all started. So Andrew basically said, I like your videos. I like what you do with the channel. I know you do a good job. And so this is his form of advertising. I'm pretty sure most of his advertising budget goes to sending out units, whether they're splitters or processors, to other YouTube people that can advertise his product. And I pride myself on being brutally honest when it comes to products. If there's something that's a piece of crap, I'm going to tell you. And if there's something that's really good, I'm going to tell you. And I will point out the flaws. I will point out the good stuff. I will give my opinion. And I think that's why people come to YouTube, is to kind of find out from other people, you know, what they like and don't like, the ins, the outs, the good, the bad, and the ugly, all that kind of stuff. So my brother and I were beaver trapping this year, and I got a call saying that this thing was done and it's on its way. So I had to come home and unload it, and we got it set up, and I really haven't done much with it yet. And today is going to be a day that we do some. So on tomorrow's video, you're going to see I got a guy coming, and we're going to pump this baby up and see what we can do. We're gonna get it flying hopefully today. It's a little bit like patting your head, rubbing your stomach, and chewing gum and skipping all at the same time. There's a lot to learn on this thing, but we'll get the hang of it eventually, and we'll pump a lot of wood out of it. I just ordered 2 more loads of wood, and I've got 3 loads sitting right over to the side here right now. Actually, I got 4 loads sitting over to the side here right now. So I got a lot of wood to put through it, and I'm going to do that. So in a nutshell, Andrew Eastman gave me this to use. And he said, I like your videos, just make videos. I said, well, you know, are we going to do, you know, I was kind of curious. Are we going to do some kind of what's the deal? I mean, how is this going to work? He says, just do videos. So that is really awesome. I can't thank him enough for the opportunity to use this machine and to make firewood for all of you to watch. It's going to be great for you guys to see. People that are interested in this are going to find out what it's really like. I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of all the little things you need to know, things you need to watch out for. Yeah, I'm gonna go over everything, and I'll do a lot of videos with this machine. I will probably do, in the beginning especially, I want to get all 4 of these loads done. I got 2 more orders. So that's 6 loads that I'm going to be putting this baby through, hopefully in the next month or so. I know some guys would say, well, heck, you could do 2 semi-loads a day with this thing. Well, not in the beginning, you can't. There's a lot to learn on this. So that is the story. Now, I do get some other stuff sent to me to try out, and I refuse a lot of stuff. probably 3/4 of the things people want to send me through the YouTube channel that they think that's something that I need to have for my business, and I refuse a lot of it because, number one, it doesn't have anything to do with firewood. Number two, it's something that is not a quality product that I would even consider using. Number three, I don't want to be a dog and pony show just trying to sell stuff. I don't like that in other channels when I watch it. I don't like when people are sponsored by a particular product that has nothing to do with what the channel is about. I'm not going to do that kind of stuff. I just don't want to do it. I will take sponsors if someone is willing to do something like Andrew did. He's basically sponsoring me here. But it's got to be a product I'm actually going to use. For instance, I've got a little item here to show you that I think is quite funny. I have a company that sent me a product that they thought I could use in my business, and I actually opened the box, I actually laughed. Now some of these people will just send me stuff. Some people will say, is it all right if I send it to you? And I said, well, if you want to send it to me, fine, but that doesn't mean I'm going to use it, doesn't mean I'll make a video of it. So this company sent me this. This is a chainsaw, and at the time I had never really researched this type of chainsaw, and never really, knew that they existed until this company sent me this. So, and then I found out later, apparently these are a thing now for homeowners. This is a chainsaw. This is what they sent me. So I'm supposed to actually do a video on this. It's a battery pack, it's 20 volt. It's got a safety thing here, because safety first, you know how that stuff is, but listen to this thing. That's wide open, and you gotta squeeze it really, really hard. I mean, I'm squeezing as hard as I can, so I'm supposed to make firewood with this. But the good news is my wife saw it and says, hey, can I use that at home for trimming bushes? So she's gonna get this. So there it is. Now you know the story of the 22 MB and how it got here, and everything that it took to get here. Now, for those of you that think Andrew just gave this to me, to play with, that is not the case. I intend on using it and making a lot of firewood with it, and I'm sure that's what he wants. He wants to see this thing on videos. But it didn't just happen. This is a $120,000 machine with the elevator and everything and getting it here, and he sent me 3 wedges. I've got the 4-way, the 6-way, the 8-way. There's a lot to know about it and a lot to learn, and I'm gonna do my best and be honest with you guys and show you everything that it can do. The only reason that it's here is because of all the hard work I did with the channel and doing videos that people like to watch with the Ultra, and then with Tony with his 22 MB, not his 22, his 1222 that he had, and then his Axis that he's got, and then Harry having his 1222 brought in here, and then Justin getting his Ultra shipped here. So I'm trying to stay in the Eastonmade family and do videos on that because it's good for the channel, and I really like their products. I think they make the best stuff there is, and so I'm very happy to have it here. So it took a lot of hard work on my part and a lot of hard work at all the fine people at Eastonmade. The guys that put this thing together, thank you very much. I will do my best. That's it for today, folks. You know what to do. Poke some buttons, hit the like, subscribe, share. Tomorrow, come on back. Between now and then, get outside, get cutting, and if you're bored, there's 700 videos on my channel to watch, and you can go to my new channel, Out of the Woodyard, and watch some outdoor type activities there. That's it for today, folks. Good night, Irene.